everyone thought they understood the dynamic. The established champion versus the rising star from the Philippines. The power player versus the crafty lefty. The ranking hierarchy versus the new phenomenon. Then Aryna Sabalenka spoke, and the old assumptions cracked. It happened at the Miami Open. Eala had just done the sport by reaching the semi-finals as a wild card ranked around 140. Sabalenka, the defending champion and world number one, had cruised into the final and knew she might face the Filipina sensation for the title. When asked about the possibility, she did not offer the usual diplomatic praise. She did not deliver the standard "she's a great player" line and move on. Instead, she revealed something that shocked the establishment, something that exposed the true dynamic between the sport's biggest star and its fastest rising phenomenon. No one had heard of her before, Sabalenka reportedly said. The words hung in the air. They sounded dismissive. They seemed to shrink everything Eala had already achieved. The tennis world braced for backlash. Then Sabalenka continued, and her next words revealed something far more complex. In the same breath, she acknowledged that Eala's popularity had eclipsed her own. She pointed to the crowds. She pointed to the views. She pointed to the phenomenon that had already become known as Ealamania. The world number one was openly admitting that a young player from a country with almost no tennis tradition had become the biggest draw in the sport. This is the story of how that stunning revelation exposed the real power shift and left the tennis world recalibrating what it thought it knew. The moment arrived after Sabalenka dismantled Jasmine Paolini 6-2, 6-2 to reach the Miami final. She was in dominant form. She was the world number one. She was expected to win. On the other side of the draw, a wild card was rewriting history. Alex Eala, ranked outside the top 100, had become the first Filipina to reach a WTA 1000 semi-final. She had already stunned the field by defeating Iga Swiatek, Jelena Ostapenko, and Madison Keys. Now she stood one match from facing Sabalenka for the title. The press asked the obvious question. Sabalenka did not hold back. She's a great player, she said, but no one had heard of her before. The line was jarring. Then she kept talking. She acknowledged the surge in attention. She pointed to the scenes in Melbourne, where thousands of Filipino fans had created a bottleneck on outside courts, forcing security to turn people away. She noted the press conference numbers. Eala's Australian Open press conference had drawn roughly 171,000 online views compared with just 9,000 for Sabalenka herself. The world number one was stating out loud what the data had already shown. The spotlight was moving, and she was watching it happen. That revelation landed at the exact moment Ealamania became impossible to ignore. At the Australian Open, Eala's first-round match had to be relocated because fans overwhelmed the outside courts. Thousands of Filipinos traveled from across Australia carrying flags and wearing custom jerseys, simply to catch a glimpse of their hero. Security turned people away. The demand was unprecedented for a player ranked outside the top 50. Former professionals had already begun discussing it openly. On the Nothing Major podcast, Sam Querrey asked the question many were thinking. Is she the biggest draw in women's tennis right now in the world? Is she bigger than Sabalenka? Is she bigger than Coco? Steve Johnson did not hesitate. Yes, dude. It's crazy, he replied. Querrey highlighted the commercial side, noting that the Philippines is a massive market tennis had long underestimated. They finally have a star on the women's side, he said. The comparison spread quickly. Eala's star power was being measured against Joao Fonseca's rise on the men's tour, yet Querrey argued her surge might already be larger. The numbers were difficult to dismiss. Her pre-tournament press conference at the Australian Open drew about 171,000 online viewers, dwarfing the roughly 29,000 who tuned in for Carlos Alcaraz or Coco Gauff and the 9,000 for Aryna Sabalenka. A player ranked outside the top 50 had outpulled the world number one by a factor of nearly 20. Yet Sabalenka's words were not pure dismissal. They recognized something deeper. The two players had shown genuine camaraderie on social media. When Iva Jovic posted photos from Rome, Sabalenka commented on those eyes and Eala wrote, "Gorgeous girl on my feed." Jovic, clearly delighted by the attention from two of the sport's biggest names, responded with a blushing emoji. The friendship was real, and it spoke to a mutual respect. Eala herself had expressed admiration for Sabalenka's game. When asked which shot she would steal from any player, she answered without hesitation, "I would steal Sabalenka's serve for sure." Sabalenka possesses one of the strongest serves on the WTA Tour, with elite service game win percentages and ranking among the leaders in aces and break points saved. Their relationship had never been about animosity. It was about recognition. Sabalenka had watched Eala climb from outside the top 140 to the brink of the top 25 in just over a year. She had watched her beat Grand Slam champions, reach the second week of a major, and capture the hearts of millions. And she had acknowledged what everyone else was beginning to realize. Eala was not a temporary curiosity. She was a phenomenon. By the summer of 2026, that star power had only grown. Eala climbed to world number 28. She defeated Iga Swiatek at Wimbledon. She became the first Filipino to reach the fourth round of a Grand Slam in the Open era. And her popularity continued to outstrip even the biggest established names. At the Mubadala City DC Open, tournament chairman Mark Ine revealed the scale of the demand. Over the last month, the ticketing team says at least 80%, if not more, of the requests in this tournament are about when is Alex Eala playing. Honestly, I think it's more, virtually all. The crowds were not limited to Washington. In Melbourne, Filipino fans created bottlenecks on outside courts. In Dubai, the same scenes repeated. In New York during the 2025 US Open, the Filipino community in Queens filled the grandstand to cheer Eala's historic first Grand Slam singles victory, an epic comeback from 5-1 down in the third set, saving match points before winning a deciding tiebreak. It was the first Grand Slam singles win by a Filipino woman in the Open era, celebrated with the kind of passion only a nation's hero can inspire. Sabalenka's revelation was not a dismissal. It was an acknowledgement. The world number one was admitting that the tennis world had changed, that a 21-year-old from the Philippines had become the biggest emerging star in the sport, and that the old hierarchy could no longer take its dominance for granted. At the same time, she showed she was watching the journey with respect. "She's a great player," she had said. And she was not wrong. Eala's path from the public courts of Quezon City to the biggest stages in the world has been extraordinary. She has beaten Grand Slam champions. She has climbed to a career high ranking no Filipino had ever reached. She has inspired a nation of more than 110 million people. And she is still only beginning. The phrase she has carried with her, "Kapag may tayaga, may nilaga," resonates beyond results. As she once explained, it refers more to the dream itself than to any single scoreline. The dream is still growing. The US Open awaits. The next chapter is already being written. From the cracked courts of Quezon City to the measured praise of the world number one. From a 13-year-old training far from home to a national figure celebrated by presidents and followed by millions. From being told the path was nearly impossible to standing in the middle of it. Alex Eala has defied every expectation. And Aryna Sabalenka's candid revelation remains one of the clearest proofs that the tennis world can no longer look away. If this look at the moment the world number one acknowledged the shift and the phenomenon that forced the admission resonated with you, make sure you are subscribed to Stateside Tennis. Turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter. Drop a comment and tell us what Sabalenka's words meant to you. The rivalry the media expected may never fully materialize. The respect and the commercial reality already have. The story continues.